Hey, Claude Polan here, Affiliate Starting Line. Welcome. This is the continuation of the SEOmoz Beginner's Guide to SEO, and this is about Chapter 8. So 8 is about search engine tools and services. It explains certain concepts behind how you can use different SEO tools to figure out the SEO for your site. And it starts with the concept of sitemaps. Sitemaps are a list of files that tell the search engines how they can crawl your site. Each page basically of your website is its own URL, and each page can be fit with certain tags that will tell the search engine whether it can index it or not, or if it went follow or not. And sitemaps are the file that has those URLs for each one of those pages in it, and they help the search engines crawl your site. And so a search engine will look for sitemaps when they show up on your site. Some people set them up, some people don't, and they make a big mistake by not doing that. So the language used for sitemaps, it's called XML, Extensible Markup Language. And this simply says this is the format of the language. It's a very good language to use because it can produce a lot of sitemap generators. It can create these sitemaps easily. The problem is it creates very large files. So the pro is that it's a widely accepted format for sitemaps. The con is it creates large files. Then it goes on to explain 3 other different formats that you're going to find on websites. RSS, Real Simple Syndication, Rich Site Summary, is a way for, it's a piece of code, and it allows for people to access the content of your website dynamically. And what it means is you set up an RSS on your site, people sign up to that RSS feed, and when you add content to the site, it automatically sends them a notification to their RSS readers that you have content on your site, and they can click it and access it. So RSS is easy to maintain. RSS sitemaps can easily be coded and automatically update. But the con is they're harder to manage, and it's a variation of XML, and it's harder to manage. Text files. Text files are unformatted text in a file, and it's a specific type of format. It's .txt. They're easy to use. The text sitemap format is 1 URL per line, and most sitemaps limit 50,000 lines, and then they have to create a new sitemap. I wouldn't worry about that. It does not provide the ability to add metadata, so you're not going to be able to indicate index, no follow, etc. But you don't have to worry about that because there are other means of doing that. So robots.txt. We already looked at this. This is a file that allows you to designate whether you want to allow a search engine to crawl you. It explains the different commands that occur in a robot.txt file. This allows sitemap crawl delay. It shows you an example. So in this example here, we have a website called www.example.com/robot.txt. The page on the website that we're talking about is robots.txt. User agent is the name. It is the place where the name of the bot would be that you want to either disallow. And disallow is the command. Right now, this allows anybody to crawl, and there's no disallow at all. So this designation right here, this code here, allows crawling of any kind. Down below it, the user agent, you've specified the user agent, spam bot. You don't want this bot to index your site. It could be a spamming, it's a lousy, it's a spammer. And you have created the disallow by putting a parameter behind it. So now this spam bot will not be allowed to index your site. That's what that means. And it shows you the format for doing that. And you can do that for every crawler you want. So what it tells you in the little paragraph here is generally that works very well, but sometimes these coders are pretty smart and they work their way around it, or they create a new spamming bot that you haven't designated yet. Meta robots. Again, this goes back to what we talked about before. You can designate whether you want to index or no index, whether you want to follow or no follow. And it explains here the code of how that occurs on whatever page it is that you want to invoke those commands and those parameters, and it shows you the code that's needed to do it. We already covered some of this in another part of the of the book, but you can, it shows you here and it gives you an example of the code of how to code, for example, the nofollow. The tricky one is the canonical. This is where you may have several pages on your website. So in this case, they're showing 4 pages and they're pretending these all carry the same content. You want to avoid that. You want to designate one of these as the go-to page, and the other 3 you want to tell the search engine to ignore. And you do that by going on these 3 pages you want to ignore, and you create the code that you see here on the right. And so it shows you the code designation for telling the search engine that on the default.asp page, you want to designate this page here in red as the main page to go to for the content. So there is an article, very good article I might add, over here, at the daily, and on the Daily SEO blog that explains canonical designations and how you should play those. So you want to go to the SEOmoz site and look for that. Search engine tools. Google Webmaster Tools is one free tool. I just kind of briefly showed you that. Let's go to, this is the Webmaster Tools here for a website. So you can see, let's see what it does. So this is what it would look like. This is a training site. It has nothing in it, but this tool here will give you information about the configuration of your site, the site links, URL parameters. It'll show you the health of your site, give you crawl errors, tell you whether you have 404 or any malware. It'll give you information about traffic, the links coming to your site. So this tool will help you analyze what's going on with your website. And that's what this information here tells you. It'll give you geographic targeting information, preferred domain information, URL parameters, crawl information, site links, Google One metrics, all sorts of information about your site. And then it goes on to say that Bing has exactly the same kind of tool available. And this is what the Bing site would look like. Again, it gives you information here on the right-hand side about sitemaps, crawl information, all the stuff that you want to know from Bing of how your site is doing. And these are free tools. The only thing you have to learn how to do is set them up. And I'll do it. I have some videos on how that's done. And then down here at the very end, it talks about SEOmoz Open Site Explorer. That's a great tool, and then it gives you an indication of what it can do, and it also pushes SEOmoz products, which it should. This is a great outfit to use if you have the need for it, and everybody does. So it's a subscription service, and you can go there and find out what it costs. I think it's $100 a month for individuals, and it can go right up to $500 a month for businesses. But it's an absolutely universal tool used by all professional SEOs at least that I know of, and so you want to know about it. And eventually, if you end up in the SEO world working in it, you're going to probably be using this as one of the tools that you'll be using to analyze. So that's it. That's Chapter 8 of the SEOmoz Beginner's Guide to SEO. I hope this video has been helpful. This is Claude Palan, Affiliate Starting Line. Stay with it, stay well, and we'll talk to you soon.